Some of the most iconic books and films feature tales of the undead, but what might surprise you is how many of them were inspired by real-life science.
It's 1803 in Italy. A 40-year-old researcher named Giovanni Aldini is on a mission to prove a theory that the human body runs on its own electrical current.
And he believes that if there is already an electrical current within the body, that by subjecting a dead body to electrical current, you can very possibly reanimate the dead. Aldini decides he wants to get a body on the up and up, and he reaches out to local prisons to try to acquire the corpse of a recently executed prisoner.
Lucky for Aldini, a man named George Foster has been sentenced to death. And they're willing to give Aldini Foster's body fresh from the gallows.
The execution goes as planned. Aldini acquires the body. And then, at London's Royal Academy of Surgeons, he schedules a real event to showcase his theory with this freshly dead body.
The theater is packed with the best and brightest of the day, and everyone in the Oval Theater has their eyes on the wooden slab where Foster's body is lying, covered by a white sheet.
Aldini rips the sheet from Foster's body as a hush falls over the room.
Aldini picks up prods that are connected by wires to a zinc battery. The electricity flows forth, he approaches the body, and the crowd is on the edge of their seats. He touches the prod to the dead man's face. The dead man, George Foster, opens one of his eyes. Then Aldini takes the prod and puts it in his nether regions, and his whole body convulses.
George Foster's arm then goes up in the air. His legs are starting to move. The entire audience thinks that the deceased is about to stand up.
And then, Aldini's battery dies, and the experiment ends. But while George Foster doesn't come back to life, Aldini's legacy does live on.
The experiments do indicate that electricity can at least stimulate dead tissue. That part of the experiment is a success.
As bizarre as the Aldini experiment is, he's credited with pioneering electrotherapy as we know it as a modality of treatment. But there's also another thing that he is credited with. Mary Shelley wrote the book Frankenstein 10 years after the Aldini experiment. Frankenstein, in which a dead body is reanimated with electrical impulses. Sounds very familiar.
Aldini failed to bring back a whole body, but another strange mind focused on bringing back just one piece.
In 1874, Alexander Graham Bell is a 27-year-old up-and-coming inventor studying acoustics at MIT. As a day job, he is a teacher at the School for the Deaf.
At the time, the deaf are seen and treated as outsiders. There is no tried and true method yet to teach the deaf to speak in a way that softens their sometimes harsh tones when they try to produce audible speech.
They're unable to hear the sounds that they're making, and thus are unable to refine those sounds.
He starts to think that if he could figure out a way for his students to visualize sound, then maybe they'll understand it and figure out a way to repeat it.
He's fascinated by the way the human ear works. Sound enters the ear, it vibrates, and every different kind of sound makes it vibrate a little differently. He wants to somehow capture that vibration visually.
To bring his vision to life, Bell looks to the human body itself.
Bell wants to base his invention off of the anatomy of an actual human ear. So he talks to his colleague, Dr. Clarence Blake, who has an interesting idea. Why not use an actual human ear for this invention? So he suggests using a dead person's ear.
Bell's friend, Dr. Clarence Blake, works with medical cadavers. He procures a human ear that has been preserved so that its innards, including the eardrum, are still intact.
Now that Bell has his ear, he can build his prototype and start testing it out.
Bell fixes the ear to a stalk of hay. The stalk of hay travels from the eardrum to a plate that's covered with a thin layer of charcoal.
His theory is that when sound hits the eardrum, the vibration will cause the hay to draw a unique pattern into the charcoal.
Bell begins speaking into this ear trumpet. And it works. When the vibrations of sound hit the eardrum, it ends up moving the hay, thus drawing waveforms in the charcoal. And each one of those waveforms is unique to the letter or the word that he's saying.
Next, Bell performs the experiment with his students. He speaks an A into the device, and the students can see the shape of a proper A.
Now the students can speak into the device themselves, create their own shape of sound, and match it against Bell's.
Bell calls the new device the dead ear phonautograph.
Not only does this device dramatically assist deaf people in communicating, but it forms the germination of Bell's most famous device, the telephone.
He begins to theorize that you could use the sound of your voice to create an electrical current to send your voice down a telegraph wire. And voila, 2 years later, the invention of the telephone.
When one of history's greatest minds fires up a strange device, let's just say it shakes a whole lot more than the walls.
In the 1890s, genius inventor Nikola Tesla is working on new, more efficient ways of generating electricity.
The rotating electrical generator, he finds, is not very efficient. So he decides to invent a new version, something oscillating, goes up and down.
So basically it works with an air or steam-powered piston driving a coil back and forth through a magnetic field. This happens at an incredible frequency.
This device does create a lot of electricity very efficiently, but it also produces an enormous amount of vibration.
The amount of vibration is so immense, not only does it shake his building, it shakes the neighboring buildings, so much so they think they're experiencing an earthquake.
As scary as this is at first, there seems to be at least one upside.
Tesla's team realizes that if they stand on a platform above the machine, the vibrations get sent throughout your whole body.
People who experience this are having like laughing fits, their mood changes, and some people say it actually improved their health.
Tesla, ever the inventor, thinks, hey, maybe this machine might have applications in medicine. Maybe it could destroy cancer cells or eliminate tuberculosis.
It may even be able to help one of Tesla's famous friends, who's suffering from something much different.
In the 1890s, Tesla becomes a good friend with no other than Mark Twain.
When Tesla and Twain meet at a dinner party, a bromance quickly ensues.
As they get closer, Twain reveals the fact that he's suffering from a really embarrassing problem. He has insufferable constipation.
Tesla tells Mark, I think I might have something for you. Go stand on that platform. We're gonna let those vibrations course through your body, and we're gonna see if we can shake something loose.
But Tesla gives Twain a very frank warning. When I say get off the machine, you get off the machine.
Twain loves it. He's eating it up. He's euphoric. He's feeling better than he has in years.
But sure enough, eventually Tesla's like, yo, time, you gotta get off now. And Twain is like, you're tripping, dude.
Twain says, no way, I'm not stopping this.
Suddenly, Twain feels a gurgling in his intestines, and he hops off the platform and makes a mad dash for the bathroom.
But unfortunately, nature is a bit faster than he is.
On the upside, Tesla did prove his theory. Today, vibration therapy is proven in alleviating constipation, so much so that in 2023, University of Georgia invented a vibrating pill to help disrupt constipation.